Yeah, yeah. Yo. Up at the North Pole, prices on the rise. Candy canes cost $5, even Santa surprise. Elves check their pay stubs, do the math real slow. Say how we building joy when we can't afford snow. Rent went up and gingerbread roll. Hot cocoa's now a premium with fees we don't know. Santa says inflation's global, it's out of my hands. So is my resume, I updated Lindsay to man. Workshop slacks blowing up. Someone muted Santa, that's rough. Mrs. Claus says let's all breathe. Ain't to schedule a meeting for New Year's Eve. The elves are on strike this Christmas. No toys till we renegotiate. Inflation at the North Pole too. Even magic can't escape that rate. The elves are on strike this Christmas. Hashtag pay the elves going viral tonight. Santa's sack is looking real empty. Guess it's gift cards and socks this time. One elf says AI's building toys now. Another says yeah, but it still messes up somehow. Robots painting trains slightly wrong. 8-year-olds tweeting this ain't what I wanted, bro. Half the elves wanna work mode. Build toys from home in pajama mode. Santa says you gotta be on site. Elf says Zoom works fine. I'm union approved tonight. Cable news at the snowman desk, arguing who's more offended next. One says tradition's under attack. Other says, bro, it's just a payback gap. The elves are on strike this Christmas. No toys till we renegotiate. Cost of living went north real fast. Even Ranger checking interest rates. The elves are on strike this Christmas. Santa's trending for the wrong reasons. Naughty list got rebranded quick. Now it just turns and conditions. Santa size drops corporate tone. Says we value every elf we own. Employed. Sorry guys. Lego says Santa, stop talking like raises wages that take leave. Mental health days per toy, burnout fatigue. And say cool, we're back tonight. But over time, now workers' rights. The elves are back to work this Christmas. New contract signed, sleighs online. Same old toy, brand new hamburg. Now with benefits and work lifetime. The elves are back to work this Christmas. Snow falls down, the sleigh takes flight. Nothing changes except the payroll man.
Well, hey everybody, Sexmas here live. I'm back. It's been a long time. Just a couple of years, and so I'm back. Hex Nation. We still have about 844 people. So we're doing all sorts of different types of reactions. We're not just doing gaming content. We're reacting to pretty much everything out there. Right now, I had a poll put up, and you guys wanted to have a reaction to, I guess, direwolves. I don't know about direwolves, guys. I mean, I'm a nature guy. I love to camp. I live out there in nature. I don't know how I'd feel about a pack of direwolves just pulling up at my campsite. But let's get right into it. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so direwolf siblings Romulus and Remus howling for the first time. Wow, so these are baby direwolves. The first time for a species in over 10,000 years. Alright, so this is going to be the first time hearing direwolves in 10,000 years. What? Look at these guys. Are you kidding me? I don't know, guys. What do you think about these things? It's a slippery slope. Yeah. I mean, what could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? Why do people hate this so much? I don't know. I guess the haters like what, the loudest voice in the room? Is that what it is? Oh, look at this right here. Time magazine. Extinct? I think not. Wow, look at this thing. That's crazy. I looks like Joe Rogan had some information about it too. Wow, that's a good question. If direwolves and modern gray wolves competed today, who do you think would dominate? Wow. So direwolves are big, right? I mean, we're talking 10, 15, 20,000 years ago. I mean, I've seen Game of Thrones. I know you guys have seen Game of Thrones, right? I mean, I'm just assuming they're like that. They're massive. But I would assume if they're bigger, they're probably slower. And so as big prey, went extinct, I'm sure it was harder for them to catch small, fast prey. I don't know if that's the reason why they died out, but I just think the modern wolf is probably more suited for today's environment.
People from like sci-fi, fantasy, and kids more into science and into the conversation around conservation. We thought it was a cool idea, but we had no idea if we could pull it off.
Is there dead direwolves that were trapped in permafrost, or is
No, most of the direwolf skulls out there, there's thousands of them in La Brea tar pit. So if you go there, they have this beautiful wall, but because of heat and acidification, there isn't anything that's protected. Like there's nothing you can get from that. But about 6 years ago, a group, including
direwolves used to hunt mammoths and giant bison. Yeah, see, that makes sense. They're built to take down big prey. So, yeah, I don't think they have a food source anymore. I mean, it's fun doing these experiments, but in the wild, do they work?
Beth Shapiro, our chief science officer, sequenced a tooth that was found in a cave, just a single tooth, right? And in that tooth, they actually found they actually got 0.15x or coverage of the genome, so they got about 15% of the genome. But that's not really enough. You need to get up to about 10x, meaning that you can read the entire genome about 10 different times, so that even if there are gaps, you understand enough of the core kind of coding regions that you could bring back that animal. Or
is this done by AI?
It's done by AI and software, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we built, part of our business model is building technologies to solve these really complicated problems. They're much harder to solve than just solving them for existing species. Open sourcing that for conservation.
It's another question. If direwolves are brought back through de-extinction, do we have an obligation to protect them? I mean, even if they threaten livestock in rural communities, don't we have protected species now? Right? I mean, I thought wolves for the longest time were a protective species. Let's go ask here. Are wolves protected? Gray wolves are federally protected under the endangered species. Yeah, in the lower 48 states. This means killing wolves is generally illegal except in the case of immediate threats to human life or under limited permits. So yeah, I mean, I think we protect them the same way as we did anything else. But I don't think we're going to be seeing direwolves anytime soon. I think right now they're on some crazy large preserve, and it's just like 3 of them. This one here.
people that are saying that these are not direwolves, that what you've done is just manipulate the DNA of a gray wolf?
They are direwolves because we have manipulated the DNA of gray wolves. We took direwolf genome sequences from animals, one animal that lived 72,000 years ago and one animal that lived 13,000 years ago. And we lined them up next to each other and figured out what it is that makes a direwolf a direwolf. And then we used the tools of genome engineering to bring those traits back in Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi, that are 3 direwolves that are alive now. And that has created these animals that you saw that are bigger.
So 72. Hold on.
Back in Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
So there's like a 6,000 year gap between one genome, the other genome, and then you have the wolves of today mixing this DNA. I mean, would there be evolution over this time? Like, so I don't know. I don't know if we're seeing like the dire wolves of the old. We'll probably see some sort of hybrid. You know, if you guys watch Underworld, right? You had the vampires and the lichens, and you had like the in between, right? The abomination. This is probably the abomination of the wolf species.
That are 3 direwolves that are alive now. And that has created these animals that you saw that are bigger and they're stronger and they have that direwolf coat. And that's a cool thing too. That coat, the light coat color that you see, was something that we absolutely could not have known without the ancient DNA, because no one has ever seen a direwolf.
Or did that come from don't the wolves of today, gray wolves, have a light coat? I'm just saying. I'm not a scientist. She's a scientist.
When we published a paper before I joined Colossal many years ago that was about direwolf evolution.
Lots of cool company named Colossal.
We had a paleo artist reconstruct what direwolves looked like, and they made them red or reddy brown. And that's because so many other animals seem to be reddy brown, like mammoths are. Neanderthals seem to have had red hair, and so we thought, sure, why not? We didn't know because we hadn't sequenced the part of their genome that we could use to see what color their coats were. But both of these 2 animals that we had higher coverage DNA from had gene variants in genes that are associated with pigmentation, how our coats.
Is reliving extinct predators like direwolves responsible conservation, or are we playing God? I mean, don't we already play God, right? I mean, we have nukes. We can blow the earth up like many times over, but we can't play with genetics. I mean, think about all the canines, all the dogs we've genetically modified, for our uses. We've already been kind of doing stuff like this. I guess through breeding, maybe not through genome like what she's talking about. But I mean, so they're going back and getting DNA off fossils from 10, 15,000 years ago. Now imagine some of the species going back today that like we just mankind has killed, right? Like, I don't know, we probably killed a lot of stuff. What animals have gone extinct due to humans? Okay, let's see here. Humans driven numerous animals species to extinction. Obviously, here's some well-known examples of animals that extinct primarily due to human actions. The dodo, a flightless bird. So I want to see a dodo. Let's bring the dodo back. Okay, this, I can't pronounce this. The Tasmanian tiger. Vorax marsupial. Oh, I think I've seen a picture of that. It looks kind of like, almost like a dog meets, like, has like the patterns on the back of it like a tiger. Yeah, maybe I can picture that up. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, so I have like the tiger back, but it's almost like a dog face to it. See, we missed all this, guys. We can have this back tomorrow. And then the other thing that I do like about their little program is, now think of all the animals we have now, right? So we're not trying to go back 10,000 years to get DNA. Let's just say tomorrow the eagle was extinct, right? We have no more eagles. Well, surely in the lab somewhere we've got DNA of eagles from today. We can bring it back. We don't got to splice DNA from, you know, something 10,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago, to try to match with something today and try to make some sort of hybrid version of it. We'd have the regular eagle. So as long as we get DNA examples now of every species on Earth, I think we can bring it back. So that's pretty big. That's pretty big. He's got to say about it.
Well, for the first time in history, an extinct animal has been bioengineered to be brought back. And not just one, two that have been announced. No, three. How many? I don't know. I don't know that they've told about. Three, Kyle says.
Yes.
I know other things,
I
but
thought
three.
you would know that detail.
No, I know other things, but I know of three. Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi are the three direwolves that for the first time in 10,000 years are once again roaming the earth. How insane is that?
Where are they
Crazy.
roaming?
So they're in an undisclosed facility. I can't
Of
say
course,
where they
of
are
course, yeah.
for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But there are three of them. They have a massive paddock. I haven't seen them in person. I've seen videos and photos have been sent to me
I
from
heard
this
it's
location.
2,000 acres. So it's
But they have
pretty
this
big.
massive paddock. They've been taken care of really well. That's Ben Lamb, the CEO of Colossal, holding one of the pups at only like 6 weeks old. And at 6 weeks old, it's like 75 pounds.
Yeah, it's a big boy
Yeah.
already.
So-
6 weeks old, guys. 75 pounds. I got a pit bull sitting right over here that's about 75, 80 pounds. It's full grown. This is 6 weeks old. That's crazy.
So these are legit direwolves brought back, used from actual genes that were meticulously rebuilt from direwolf genetics, one by one, to produce a direwolf.
Dude, fascinating, man. So they finally have done it. It's they've been messing with the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, the thylacine.
Oh, so they are talking about bringing the Tasmanian tiger back. The thylacine. That's how you say it, thylacine. That would be insane.
And those are in the works, but this is actually the breaking
Well,
point.
okay. So as we all know, I'm a conservation advisor to Colossal. So I've been on the inside of this for over 2 years, and we've been working on this, on the direwolf for over 2 years, longer than that. That's how long I've been involved in this. But it's been highly confidential. I've been under strict NDAs. Nobody's known about
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
And then, I knew when they were born, and I knew 3 or 4 weeks ago that this was going to get announced this week, and everybody's been talking internally about it, and then woke up this morning, it's like, hey, guess what, world? Extinction's a thing of the past.
Cover of
Yeah,
Time
it
magazine.
is.
Cover of Time magazine right now. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So direwolves, they're born.
Again, it's just wild to think that no matter what we do, going forward, we'll never lose another animal.
Now, what's so cool about this, and it's important to note, is not just are the direwolves, this technology is a proof of concept, okay? It's really important to note this, and with all of the news and the stuff floating around, listen to the howl of the puppies. That's my good buddy, Matt James.
Is it exciting or terrifying? Yes. To both. It's exciting and terrifying.
Holding them right there.
Oh, my. Beautiful.
How cute is that?
A sound not heard in, 50,000 years?
At least 10,000.
10,000?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable, dude. Gracing the earth again with its wonderful, beautiful sound.
Direwolves. Okay, Game of Thrones, right?
Yep.
There's direwolf
Yep.
characters.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Two of them.
I had seen it on Game of Thrones. Then I went to the La Brea tar pits, and I believe there were direwolves in North America, right?
Correct.
Because I think
Yep.
there was some in California that had fallen into the La Brea tar pits.
Correct. Yep.
Tell me about. So what can I expect when I get to see these direwolves?
Well, and
in
here's the
person?
thing. That's why I was saying this is important to understand. So the direwolves are a proof of concept.
Okay.
This was never announced. Colossal's obviously known for working on thylacine, working on mammoth, working on dodo. For 2 years, I've known about this. We've been working on this. We knew this was going to come. Came today. Big announcement. Everybody's super excited. But nobody knew this was coming. This is a proof of concept. The reason I'm pointing this out is nobody's letting direwolves go tomorrow. They're not going to be like,
Hope
hey,
not.
we need direwolves back in Yellowstone. No, thank you.
Sure, right.
No, thank you at all. Like that's a bad idea.
Well, we got enough species that could, gives a problem without adding direwolves to the mix.
Right.
But this is a proof of concept to show what this technology is capable of. And the real game changer is that this same technology has been used to clone critically endangered red wolves, which is an animal, I think we've talked about it before. It's the most critically endangered wolf species in the world. And because this technology is useful in canines, here's another way to put it. If we just came out and said, Colossal came out and said, hey, we've cloned a critically endangered red wolf, it's kind of a page turner. It's like, oh, okay, you know, like we heard about when Dolly the sheep got cloned, and we know you guys are working on this. You took an animal that's out there that can breed and made another one. But no, so what Colossal's done so ingeniously is they've announced, look at what this technology can do, and already applied this technology to this red wolf clone with this, they've named Ghost Daughter, which is like a native name. I forget the name of the actual pronunciation of it.
Nika Kaida.
You got it. Yeah. And anyway, it's just so cool because it's showing the application for this technology. But literally, the way I see it, and I could talk about what we can expect with the wolves and everything, but the way I see it is when we all woke up today, the world had changed.
Definitely. Yeah, does this solve any real problems? I mean, compared to what, right? Does this solve, like, the world's hunger problem? Probably not. Does it solve, you know, mankind forcing animals to be extinct because we've encroached on their territory or overhunted them? Yeah, absolutely it does.
Like, extinction is in some degree now a thing of the past.
It's not a permanent thing anymore.
No, it doesn't need to be. With the right money and everything else, it doesn't need to be. Like, literally, when we woke up today, the world changed.
So I was trying to get you to describe a direwolf.
And?
What's a direwolf?
Okay, sorry.
There are people listening who still don't know what we're talking about.
Fair enough. A direwolf is a giant wolf. So it was closely related, or unclear I'm unclear on it, how closely related it was to the gray wolf. But imagine a gray wolf that was 200 pounds, that lived 10,000 years ago, that was what a coyote is to a wolf, a wolf was to a direwolf. Does that make sense? So when you look at a coyote and go, wow, that's like a little wolf, you know, and it's kind of smaller and it lives in a solitary way and it will sometimes be in a pack, blah, blah, blah. Then you look at the wolf and you're like big, majestic, powerful, larger. Now, if you take one more step from wolf to direwolf, that's basically
it's just
what it is.
To me, some of these diagrams here, it looks thicker. Yeah. It's definitely taller than a wolf too, right?
7 feet long, you know, 200-ish pounds.
7 feet long.
It's just
crazy.
Longer legs, faster running. It's just sort of bigger and more powerful. And
it is faster
again,
running.
like a coyote is to a wolf is to a direwolf.
And so this is the first 100%. So the genetics are 100% back.
They used direwolf genes, pure direwolf genes, to then build direwolf, if that makes sense. I don't understand any of this. We've talked about this many times. I'm not a CRISPR guy. I don't understand
But it's not like a wishy-washy thing. I remember we did that one article where they brought back like a zebra without stripes, and they were like, well, yeah, it's not really that.
I'm sorry. A zebra without stripes, isn't that just like a horse? I don't know.
Animal.
Correct.
This is different than that.
Correct. What I understand is that the direwolf expresses basically 20 key unique traits that makes it different from a regular wolf. Okay. So instead of just taking a regular wolf and being like, all right, let's make it bigger and call it a direwolf.
Yeah.
That's not what they've done. They've taken those 20 key traits that are unique to direwolves and put them into the pups that the surrogate dog birthed and now bred a direwolf, if that makes sense. So genetically, it's a direwolf. It's not... You can easily take a gray wolf. I don't know about easily. I couldn't. But you could take a gray wolf and be like, hey, let's just genetically engineer this to be 250 pounds and call it a gray wolf. But that's not what they've done. They've taken these unique traits and put them into the pups.
So obviously there's no plans in place that these will ever be released.
No, absolutely not. I mean, that's insanity.
Why? Why can't we do it?
Same reason we're not. Look, have you seen Jurassic Park, Patrick?
Yes.
Do you know what happens when you release the big predators?
I was just going to say, though, like...
Would they breed with other wolves and create some sort of wolf hybrid? Who knows?
Where we are actually that much closer to some, like, kind of crazy billionaire building Jurassic Park.
Well, that's basically what Ben's done. But no, so the pups are in this undisclosed location. It's in the U.S.
Yeah, sometimes, like, you know, so it's easy to get out, right? Or we let them out and they breed with other wolves. What does that do? Does that create some sort of like hyper aggressive wolf? Isn't it what happened with like killer bees? Didn't oh. We're always meddling with nature, you know, and sometimes we get things we don't expect. Did man create killer bees? Yes, humans indirectly created killer bees through a scientific breeding experiment that went awry. Oh. Oh, so in 1957, 26 African queen bees and their swarms escaped. The escaped bees interbred freely with local European honeybee populations, creating aggressive hybrids that spread rapidly across South America, Central America, and eventually United States. Wow, okay. But again, that was due to our meddling, right? And so this got out, it bred with something else, and it caused some sort of hyper-aggressive thing. So now we get these direwolves to get out, breed with some regular wolf, and direwolves, I don't think they have the fear of humans like a wolf has, right? I think wolves know, okay, let's keep our distance. I don't think direwolves have that right now built into their genes. So they might say, hey, there's some dinner, you know? Oh, man, scary to think about. So, yeah, the difference between the gray wolf and direwolf. Well, yeah, actually, I have something for that. Here we go.
Heavyweight, and according to some scientists, it's kind of back. Yep, thanks to genetic editing, we might be looking at the first steps toward a real-life comeback. But before we howl with excitement, let's rewind. What was the real difference between direwolves and today's grey wolves?
Yeah.
The grey wolf and the direwolf may sound like close kin. After all, both are big bad wolves, right? But their evolutionary journeys split millions of years ago.
And that picture did no justice. They look the exact same
DNA
size.
evidence published in 2021 revealed they last shared a common ancestor about 5.7 million years ago. Enough time for direwolves to become a distinct lineage. While their bones look superficially similar, direwolves were so different genetically that even when they lived alongside grey wolves and coyotes in North America, they never interbred.
Oh, there goes that theory. Okay.
Grey wolves, along
But these are different though. These were genetically engineered with gray wolf DNA. So maybe these ones would interbreed.
with coyotes and jackals, evolved over in Eurasia and only arrived in the Americas relatively late, long after direwolves had established their turf. The direwolf even had its genus name, Anacyon, meaning terrible wolf, and it earned that title. Grey wolves, on the other hand, belong to Canis, same as modern wolves, dogs, and coyotes. Let's get one thing straight. Direwolves were big. Maybe not the monster-sized beasts pop culture makes them out to be, but bigger than your average grey wolf. On average, a direwolf weighed about 60
Alright, it's not like Game of Thrones big, but, you know, not your gray wolf size either.
to 70 kilos, or 130 to 150 pounds. That puts them at the upper limit of even the biggest modern grey wolves, like the Yukon or Northwestern wolves, and roughly 25% heavier than the average grey wolf today. Direwolves had shorter, thicker legs, smaller feet, and a more compact, muscular body. Their bones were heavier, their frame stockier. Picture a wolf with the build of a heavyweight wrestler, wide chest, thick limbs, low to the ground, built for strength, not speed.
Well, see, this does contradict the other guy who said that they were faster. Bigger, stockier, heavier bones.
You're not chasing anything across the tundra with that body.
Yep.
But if something needed to be wrestled to the ground, well, that was their speciality. Grey wolves, by comparison, are athletes. A big male might weigh 45 to 50 kilos, around 100 to 110 pounds, and some exceptional individuals.
Now, this is all speculation. I mean, we actually have direwolves, so they could do real comparisons between the two. Is it fast? Is it faster? Is it slower? I'm very curious.
Can hit direwolf sizes. But they're taller, longer-legged, and lean. Their bodies are made for distance and stamina, not brute force. They can run for miles, track prey for hours, and rely on endurance over impact. Direwolves had larger, wider heads, with massive jaws and reinforced cheekbones, those zygomatic arches that anchor the jaw muscles. Their snouts were broader, their teeth thicker, and their skulls built to handle serious pressure. Estimates put their bite force at over 1,300 newtons of the canines, the strongest of any known canine. That's bone-breaking power, not just meat slicing. Their canine teeth were also more durable, able to withstand more bending without snapping. Some researchers say their dental strength was close to hyena levels, and the fossil record backs it up. Their teeth show heavy wear and breakage, signs that direwolves often chewed straight through bone to get to the good stuff. Grey wolves are still impressive. Their bite is powerful enough to bring down moose and break bones, but their teeth are sharper, narrower, and more adapted for slicing rather than smashing.
Wow. Well, so they really did it. You know, we got direwolves back. Extinction is gone, so that's a thing of the past. That's a pretty big deal. I don't know. Do you guys like direwolves? Do you think this was a? Do you think the company Colossal is on the right path with bringing back some of these things like the direwolf, the mammoth, and stuff like that? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to end it here. And Hex Nation, I'm out.